Go ahead.
All right. Welcome, everybody. We're very glad that you can join us virtually. My name is Leslie Smith, and I'm the Director of Guidance. And with me is Lillian Berry, our other school counselor, and then Nikki Vachon, who is a representative from Fame, Maine. She's going to talk to you a little bit about her own experience working in financial aid, but Nikki comes from a wonderful organization. It's free for anybody who wants to access it. That gives us great publications and information about how to pay for college. And so we wanted to let you know that we are recording this tonight. We planned on doing that anyway for those who couldn't make it, but I'm very glad we're recording it because I'm a little concerned that we're going to lose power, or maybe somebody over here will lose power. So the purpose of tonight is to talk to you about what it's like to pay for college, what kinds of things to look out for, and what kinds of things you could do to plan ahead. And so at this point, I will give it to Nikki Vachon.
Hey everyone, I'm Nikki Vachon, and I don't have my camera on tonight because it's just my internet's dragging for some reason, but just trust that I am adorable. I look just like my emoji, and I'm going to try and be really animated because you guys can't see what I look like. So I'm watching the question and answer in chat. So if I freeze up or start to lag, can you just throw something in the chat just so I know to back up and talk a little bit. So like we said earlier, Fame is a free resource to all Mainers. We're here to help you guys figure out how to pay for college. I'm going to put in the chat. I would love to have you all join our texting program or email list because we have started texting folks important stuff. We don't send you a bunch of stuff, I promise. But like when it's time to do the FAFSA, we're going to send you a text and say, hey, it's time. Let's get in there, make it happen. So go ahead and join that texting list, or if you don't do text, we have an email way as well. All right, so I'm going to jump right in. If you guys are not familiar with Zoom, throw questions in the question and answer or the chat. And if you want it to be a private message just to me in the chat, make sure that down arrow is changed to just hosts or hosts and panelists. And then I can just see it and I'll answer generically. Okay, so we're going to talk about financial aid, what that means. And we made this 3 easy steps, guys. I'm going to go over those 3 easy steps of how to get that money. We're going to talk about the types of financial aid, your financial aid offer, and what to do if that aid just isn't enough. Everything that we talk about is in this green publication, which is at the school right now. So feel free if you don't, if you missed something, it's all in this green book, okay? All right, so let's talk about financial aid. If you guys are like me and you're kind of a little nervous about how we're going to pay for school, there's 2 types of aid. There's merit-based aid and need-based aid. At the school I worked at, we had our admissions office had some scholarships that they used to get students to come to the school. And they gave those out based on doing something awesome. Like you had great grades, or you're a great athlete or actor, or whatever it is that you do that's amazing. That's merit-based aid. Then once you get accepted, the financial aid office can look at your financial need and see how much need-based aid they could give you. So that's where I, working in the financial aid office, I could give out need-based aid. How did I know what your financial need was? Well, I had you do what's called a FAFSA, and we're going to talk about that in a little bit. The FAFSA stands for Free Application for Federal Student Aid. Emphasis on free. I don't want you to pay anyone to do this. I'll help you for free. And I want every single senior to do the FAFSA. So I want you guys to have a FAFSA buddy or whatever it is we're going to do to make this happen. But ask your friends, did you get your FAFSA done? We're going to do that in October. Every single senior do the FAFSA. People tell me either they're not going to qualify for any aid or they're just not sure what their plans are. Let me just tell you right now, it's free, takes maybe half an hour. It's not awful hard. But if you decide later to go to school like last minute, I have a lot of people that say, oh, I changed my mind, I'm actually going to go to college. Well, if you do that in October of senior year, it's just sitting there waiting for you to use. There's no downside to getting this done. People who don't think they're going to qualify for anything, you will at least qualify for a student loan. And this is a student loan. That's the cheapest loan you'll ever have. And there's many benefits to having it. So everybody, I want you to do that FAFSA. Also, I do want to point out that a lot of scholarship applications that I'm seeing are asking for results for the FAFSA. So I'm guessing probably at Herman, the scholarship applications ask for a copy of that as well. And I'm going to show you how to access that so that you can get those scholarship applications in. Okay, 3 easy steps. First step, let's get ready. Let's get ready to get that money. First thing I want you guys to do is start building a list of schools you want to apply to. And I want that list to be kind of broad. Not just one school. I want you to apply. I'd love 3 schools. That'd make me super happy. I like to have you apply to a variety of schools because, it may be that you don't get into that school or whatever it is. But what I really focus on is the money. So I just want you to find an affordable school. Well, how do you find one? There's this website called Big Future, which is a college website. But if not, it's right here at the bottom. This, like, when you're buying a house, you use Zillow and you can search by location, size, things you need. I'm getting a thing, my internet is unstable. You hear me okay? Thumbs up. Perfect. Okay. All right. So this website, you can use the filters and say up top, show me all the schools in Maine, show me large schools, private schools, show me ones that have the major you're interested in. But there's also this affordability it's a filter in the middle where you can say, show me all the schools that meet 100% of financial need. If that's something that you're going to depend on, this is a great way to see schools that have what you want, but it also has great financial aid. Okay. Next, I want you to look at schools that you are interested in, and I want you to use what's called their net price calculator on their website. And what that is just an app. It's just, it's a something where you can go into the school's website. In the little search bar, I do net price calculator. This is what University of Maine's webpage looks like. Quick and easy. You put in your information. It gives you an estimate of how much aid they'll give you. This is a great way to say how much aid you might get at that school and what you have to come up with for funds on your own. So this is a great way to just say, holy smokes, I love this school, I can do this. Or holy smokes, I got to apply for a lot of scholarships and save some money. So this gives you a little bit of an idea of what school is going to cost you before you even apply. Now, I don't want anyone to not apply to a school because it doesn't look like they're getting aid, because this is just an estimate. A lot of times that merit money I talked about earlier isn't even on here. So go ahead and apply. This is just some research. I want you guys to write down any deadlines that you find on a school's website that you have to meet. Like at my school, to get the merit money, you had to apply for admissions by a certain date. The need-based aid that I had, that you had to apply, do your FAFSA by a certain date. So as you're looking at schools, start jotting those deadlines down, but also figure out, like, what do they need from you to get the aid? We know that they're going to ask for the FAFSA, but they may also ask for what's called a CSS profile. And this is just another form that is like the FAFSA, but it's a deeper dive. There's only 3 schools in Maine that ask for this, and it's Colby, Bates, and Bowdoin. They have a lot of financial aid to award, so they just use this extra form to make sure they're giving it to the right person. Okay, I want you guys to save as much as you can, and you're like, Nikki, I don't have time to even make a difference. I'm here to tell you, every dollar you guys save is when you're not borrowing later. And the Next Gen program is an amazing way to save money, but also get some matching grant money when you guys save. So when a Mainer opens a Next Gen account, they get $100 put into their account for them to get them started. But then they match 30% of what you save. So if you guys open an account today or tomorrow, by the end of the year, there's a snapshot taken about how much you have put in, and they match it at 30%, up to $300 every year. Every year. So even like when you're in college, nextgenforme.com is that website. I want you guys to start applying for scholarships now. Start looking now. And if you guys see one that's perfect for you, deadline has passed. I want you to just put it on your calendar for next year, because that scholarship application comes around probably every year. Can I have you talk a little bit about scholarships at your school and how that happens?
Definitely. So actually, the first one that we are not making available, but we're kind of sharing with folks is the Coca-Cola scholarship came out this week. We have placed it. So what we do with seniors is after ad drop is over, which was yesterday, we start having senior meetings. And during that senior meeting, we go through what your plan is after school, and you'll leave that senior meeting with a checklist of things to do. And so hopefully many of you were a part of our Common Application workshop this August, and probably most of your Common App is almost done, which is awesome. We'll tweak it during that senior meeting and get you moving forward on that. But during that time, we will also talk to you about scholarships that we are aware of, that we know are reliable, and that we know that our students can apply to. And there are two ways that students can access that. The first way is in about a week, Miss Duell is going to be sharing with you a spreadsheet of all scholarships that we're aware of, and she's going to be sharing that with the class of 2022. I recommend you bookmark that and keep that tab open at all times, because she will add those scholarships every time something comes in. And usually they really start kickstarting coming in October and November. And then also we have a display case in our office where what I tell kids is set a reminder every Friday, go check for scholarships in the guidance office, see if there's anything new. So those are two ways that students can access that information. I cannot stress this enough. Apply, apply, apply. Will you get every scholarship you apply to? No, you won't. But boy, you'll be amazed what you would get when you just put in the effort into an application. Oftentimes, I'll have students say to me, well, it's only $500. Well, if I were to say to them, if you write an essay for me, I'll give you $500, they would be like, yeah, I would. So please just kind of look at it that way. And then finally, in January, we will be promoting something called the Herman Area Scholarship. The Herman Area Scholarship is a scholarship program that we run right here at the school, and it consists of about 25 to 30, depending on the year, of scholarships that local folks are providing to our students. And so every senior who is doing a post-secondary plan, whether it be a four-year college, a trade school, apprenticeship, there are scholarships specific for folks who need equipment for their internships and apprenticeships. We want you to fill that out and submit it. And then the scholarship committee matches you to the appropriate scholarship that fits your career goals. I know I've shared a lot of information with you, and probably you're furiously like writing this all down. I promise you that during your senior meetings with your school counselor, we will review all of that, and you haven't missed anything yet. The Coca-Cola scholarship is the first one that we're aware of that we've shared with folks already. But call us, email us, come see us on Monday if you have any questions about anything I've shared with you.
Perfect. I agree with you a million times. Apply. You never know what you're going to get. Free money, guys. Check out faymaine.com/scholarships, because we have scholarships that are for Mainers. So the pool isn't quite that large, but I'm also going to throw in the chat a website that I've started using I really like. It's called You Can Go To. It's the letter U, can go, and it's the number 2. .org. And that has there's a bunch of scholarships that are available all year round. So go get that money. Also, we just started a Facebook group where we are starting to share scholarship information in. It's called Paying for College for Me. I'll have a snapshot at the end so you can see what that looks like. But join our Facebook group, because we're going to post stuff as it becomes available. So you're going to be in the know. Okay. The last piece about getting ready is every student is going to need to create an Fsa Id. This is a username and password you need to get into the FAFSA. All right. So it really just serves as your legal signature for everything on studentaid.gov. Like if you take out a loan, this is how you sign your loan application. So the student needs to create this username and password called the Fsa Id. And one parent, if parent information is needed on that FAFSA, one parent also needs to create an Fsa Id as well. Everybody, student and parent, are going to do this at studentaid.gov. You're going to need your social security number, your date of birth, and your legal name. So if you have your social security card, it's great to have. This is the hardest part, I think, about applying for financial aid, is getting your social security number correct. Take your time here. This is something that once you get it set up, a couple days later, you get an email that says, yep, what you put in match the Social Security Administration. Go ahead and use your ID. Or something is not matching, go in and try again. So just keep in mind that I want you guys to write this down. As you set this up, write down your username and password. We're going to need this for maybe 14 years. And that sounds weird, but every single year that you do the FAFSA, you need to, oh, I just lost my train of thought. All right, I'm hoping people can still hear me. Can you throw that in the chat if you can? I lost video for a second. Perfect. Thank you so much. Okay, so I want to make sure that you guys do write down your username and password. And we created this worksheet that I had some mailed to you. Make sure that you don't have to use this worksheet if you don't want to, but this is just a good template of what information you're going to need in the future. So also, if one parent has already created a username and password in the past, maybe you have an older child, you don't need to create a new Fsa Id. You're going to use that same one for every child that you sign their FAFSA. So it's going to be the same one. And if you don't remember what your username and password is, don't worry. Go to studentaid.gov. There's a forgot username, forgot password, and you can be texted or emailed a code and you can reset your password. Okay, we're at step 2. This is where we're going to do the FAFSA. This is that one online form. You're going to fill that out. You don't need to know where you're going to college. You can list up to 10 colleges. So put every school you're thinking about applying to. Put them on, hit submit, and when you do, it goes out to those schools. If you have 10 more schools you want to apply to, after it's done processing, go back in and add 10 more. Just kidding, that's a lot of schools. But fafsa.gov is where you're going to go. Set a reminder on your phone or your calendar, whatever it is, that every single year we're going to do the FAFSA. When are we going to do it? This is most important. After October 1st. You're going to go in and that FAFSA has hit the FAFSA website. Now, it's not there right now. You can go out to the FAFSA website, but the application that is there is for current college students. So don't feel like you're going to get ahead of the game by filling that out now. You're going to wait till after October 1st and fill out your application. This is going to be for high school seniors. What do they need? They need 2020 income information. So if you guys filed a tax return, have that handy. If you worked but you didn't file a tax return, have your W-2s handy, because the FAFSA is going to ask you how much you earned, even if you didn't file a tax return. If you didn't file a tax return at all, no problem. You can still do the FAFSA. You're just going to say, I didn't earn income. If you did earn income and you filed a tax return, you can use this tool within the FAFSA that you can link to the IRS and pull in your tax data. It's amazing, guys. Do that. I just want to make a point to say that I understand that people's income may have changed. We did have a lot of people who's lost some income, working less hours. I'm going to talk a little bit more about appeals in a bit. So don't worry, I got you covered. Okay, so I also had mailed to you this FAFSA checklist, which has everything you need before you sit down to do the FAFSA. But if you guys can see the green and red arrows here, pay particular attention to what assets the FAFSAs want and what they don't want. The FAFSA wants to know about if you have cash, checking, or savings, like how much is in those accounts, or stocks and bonds, or like a second property like a camp. It does not want to know the value of your home, your cars, your boat, your snowmobile, things like that. It also does not want to know about your retirement account. So people often will put the value of their house. You don't need to do that. On the back of that checklist is more information about parent information, like if parent information is going to be needed on your FAFSA and which parent. If you have a blended family like I do, I have 3 stepkids. The FAFSA wants to know about the household the student lives with the most during the year. So if the student lives with mom and stepdad, we'll say, that's whose information is on the FAFSA. My kids live with their biological mom and stepdad more than us, so that's who's on their FAFSA. We are not on that FAFSA. So more information on that sheet. Okay, we're at step 3, follow up. I'm not seeing any questions in the chat, and I'm kind of going fast. So if you guys do have questions, throw those in the chat. All right, step 3, follow up. You're going to get an email that says your FAFSA is done processing. Go look at your student aid report. You're going to log back into fafsa.gov, and there's a link here. The green arrow is pointing to it. View or print your student aid report. Side note, guys, if you need to submit a copy of your FAFSA with a scholarship, that's where you get it. You're going to get a PDF of that student aid report right there. Go take a look at that, see if you made any mistakes, and if you did, I got a red arrow pointing to make FAFSA corrections. So you can click on that, get back in there and edit your FAFSA. You might be selected for verification, which means the school is required to check your FAFSA answers. So they're going to ask for a copy of your W-2s or 1040s. And if you made a mistake on your FAFSA, they'll fix it for you. Don't worry, just be watching your email and your mail after you submit your FAFSA. After you get accepted at the school is going to send you a financial aid offer. And they look kind of confusing, but they all have the same pieces. This is, I call it Gryffindor College. This is really what University of Maine's financial aid offer looks like. This is broken up really nicely. I love the way it's laid out. Gift aid, that's at the top. That's free money, scholarships and grants. We don't have to repay that. I want you to know how you got that money and how to keep it. If at my school, we had scholarships for certain majors, and if you switch majors, you could lose a scholarship. So that's important stuff to know. Work study looks like it's money there to pay the bill, but it's actually a job on campus that you can work and earn a paycheck. So people use that for laundry, gas, pizza. If you do the FAFSA, you're going to be automatically eligible for a direct loan. This is a loan in the student's name, no credits needed, no cosigner. This is just something that students get. This is the lowest interest rate loan. So if you guys do need to borrow, this is where I want you to start. If you guys have a bunch of financial aid offers and you're like, I don't know what this means, we made this worksheet for you to figure out what the cost is to you out of pocket. That's your net cost. So you're going to look at that financial aid offer. You're going to see what the tuition and fee, room and board is. And then you're going to deduct that free money, those grants and scholarships. That is what's left after that is what you pay out of pocket for 1 year. And this is how you're going to know if this school is doable. Can you afford this school? If you're looking at these side by side, you're like, I love school A, but school B is like a third of the price. And if you're like me, I will take school B because I am very thrifty. Okay, once you've decided the school that you're going to go to, you do have to follow up. Tell them you want that money. A lot of times schools are using portals now where you log on to your student portal and you say you want the aid. Sometimes you don't have to do anything, but if you do want a student loan, you do have to do a loan application and some entrance counseling, which lets you know about the loan itself. So just remember there's some follow-up you need to do. Okay, so I talked a little bit earlier about if things change, you lost a job, maybe you're working less hours, and the FAFSA asked for this 2020 income, but that's not really what your situation is now. You can work with the financial aid office at the college and ask for what's called an appeal. And this is just where you document what is happening with you, and they'll fix your FAFSA to reflect what your situation is. Now, could be you lost some earnings, maybe you're not working as much, maybe you just recently get a divorce or you're separated, or maybe there's like huge medical expenses, or like I'm working with someone right now that just had to replace their roof, which is super expensive. So these are reasons to reach out, or even if you're just struggling to pay, always ask financial aid if there's something else they can do. I don't want anyone to ever suffer in silence. What do you do when that financial aid isn't enough? Savings is a huge help, even if it's just a little bit. Knocking some off the top of that bill, maybe we can make the rest of that bill in a payment plan, which we pay in chunks. And that's way cheaper than doing a loan. There are other loan options. We created a website called theloanforme.com, and that tells you more information about that direct loan, but it's also got other information about different types of loans. There's also great tax credits to being in college. We always pay into taxes every year because of my husband's business, but when my stepson went to college, we got a refund and we use that refund to pay for next year. So that's kind of a strategy for paying. I'm wrapping up here, guys, but I want you to know in that green book, I've got a junior year and senior year planning checklist. Pull that out, throw it on the fridge, because I want you to know what you should be doing now and what's coming down the pike, because this really is like a year-long thing. I want to have you guys sign up for our texting. Whoa, I got ahead of myself. The texting program or email program. I'm going to put a link in the chat. Oh, maybe I'm not going to put a link in the chat. It's at famemain.com/join. Get signed up for our texts, but also join. This is our Facebook group. We just posted today a scholarship, and I know there's one I found recently. So go check that out because there's scholarships there too. Oh, thanks for putting that in the chat. I appreciate it. Okay, so that is it for me. I am not saying, anybody have any questions? Anybody want to ask anything that I didn't cover? Last night I did this and someone asked if this is the same information, like if someone wanted to go to a trade school or out of state. This information is for everybody, every school. If you're going to go to a community college or you're going to go to Colby, same processes. If you're going to go to Canada, they also sometimes, you got to check with the school, but they have financial aid programs, they have scholarships. Some schools out of the country use the FAFSA. So same stuff there. I put my email and my cell phone and my office number here. Give me a call if you guys have questions that you want, maybe a one-on-one meeting. Keep in mind that we are going to be doing virtual FAFSA labs in October. So if you're signed up for our emails or texts, we're going to tell you when that's available. We're going to do it multiple days in October and November. You're going to come, we're going to do a short demo of the FAFSA to show you just how to get in and where people stumble. Then we're going to put people in breakout rooms so that you can ask individual private questions. So join us for those FAFSA labs and we're going to help you out. How did we do? We made it through.
We made it through without any problems.
Holy smokes. I lost my video at one point, but go ahead.
There are no questions in the chat, but I'm wondering if any of the attendees have a question they'd like to ask. I see one hand is raised, so I wanted to give folks a chance to maybe ask questions if they have one.
And I don't necessarily have a way to, I think I can.
Oh, I see what you're saying. You can't unmute them.
I'm not seeing
It looks like the hand raise went down.
Okay. Well, if you guys throw it in type something in the chat or the Q&A, but then also you guys email me if you want. I can set up a one-on-one phone call or a Zoom meeting, and we can hammer through whatever you guys got going on. I'm happy to help.
And honestly, Nikki has done that so many times for students who are just kind of lost in filling it out, or parents have got a convoluted situation. She is just an email or a phone call away, and she's happy to help. It is a free service, never pay for help for applying for scholarships or financial aid. Nikki is your girl. All right. Nothing in chat. Again, folks, this is recorded, and once I have the recording, I'm going to throw it up onto our financial aid, onto our YouTube page. I also put a link to our recorded junior information night if you were unable to attend that, and that's in the chat as well on our YouTube page. But mostly the biggest message I have is seniors. When we come back on Monday, come see your school counselor and set up a time to have a senior meeting, because we're ready to dig into that work and get you moving to the next level.
Thanks for joining, everybody.
All right. Thank you, everybody. I think we're all set, Nikki.
All right. Have a great night, everyone.
All right. Take care.
All right. Bye-bye.